Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here, coming at you with another deck profile. This time it is my updated Monarch deck for 2020. I think it's a good deck. Obviously, it still needs Pantheism off the ban list. Then it'll be full power and highly playable. Then right now it is still just a really fun deck, and can still do a lot to hurt, a lot of decks. So this will be kind of a quicker one. Obviously, there's no extra deck. And I've done a few Monarch deck profiles already, but just thought do a little bit different one. Not too much different, but starting off with your best monster that you can tribute summon is Aether. When you tribute summon, you can send 2 Monarch spell and traps with different names to the graveyard, and then you special summon one monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense. So a lot of time, you can summon this out, and during the end phase it does return to the hand. And then also Aether has another effect. When she's in your hand during the main phase, you can banish 1 Monarch spell and trap from your graveyard, and then you can tribute summon using this card. So it's a way of tribute summoning on your opponent's turn, and then you would obviously still get the ability to special summon again off of her, and then so that could potentially be some disruption. I'll show you the card that you can sometimes summon off of her. Your other best one to start off with, these are both loading up your graveyard with Monarch spell and traps, which is actually very important with this deck. But when he's tribute summoned, you send 2 Monarch spell and traps to the graveyard, and then you shuffle 1 card from your opponent's hand, graveyard, or their side of the field into the deck. So it doesn't target. It's really, really nice. And then you can also, during either player's main phase, if this is in your graveyard, you can discard 1 Monarch spell and trap and then target 1 monster in your graveyard with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense and add it to your hand. So you can even, if he's in the graveyard, add him to hand if you need another monster to tribute summon. Or get another Aether back. So they're just really, really good cards. And then I still play for the last of the Mega Monarchs, Thestalos. When he's tribute summoned, you just look at your opponent's hand and discard 1 card. If it was a monster, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 200. And then if you tribute summon it with a fire, you get another effect. You inflict 1000 damage, but that will not happen in this deck. You don't have any fire type. The last of the Monarch regular ones, not the megas, is Curaz. So this is one where you can a lot of times use off of Aether to summon Curaz, and then if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. And then and if you do, each player can draw 1 card for each of the cards that was destroyed. So if you destroy some stuff on your field, you'll get draw power, or hurting your opponent potentially. If they're doing some big plays. Destroying 2 cards. They'll get to draw 2, but it still can mess them up a lot. And then some more monsters that you can tribute summon that are very, very good. Vanity's Fiend. You just tribute summon this, and then neither player can special summon monsters. So simple as that. Very, very good. And some decks don't even have outs for it, but unless they side in some. And then I still like 2 Majesty's Fiend. It's obviously your next best option, but besides Vanities, monster effects cannot be activated. So even hand traps and all kinds of stuff like that cannot be activated. So Majesty's Fiend is really nice. And then for the monsters that you're going to be using as the tribute fodder for all these, Edia is probably your best starter. If it's normal or special summoned, you can special summon 1 monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from your deck in defense position. That's normally going to be Eidos. And then also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you could target 1 of your banished Monarch spell and traps and add it to your hand. So it's an easy way of getting to use, like, say, Pantheism multiple times in a turn, which is always really nice. And then 3 Eidos. So if this is normal or special summoned, you can tribute summon 1 monster in addition to your normal summon. So that's why Edia summoning this just gets you another tribute summon, basically another normal summon. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense, and special summon it. So that is really nice because, like, say you use these two and you have a tribute summon, but then they get past it. Then on your next turn, you can banish Eidos to then special summon Edia back, and then Edia will get another effect to summon out another Eidos from the deck. So kind of just a really nice tribute fodder engine. And then the last of them that we play is just one Mithra. Not as good, but she still does come up, especially if you have a lot of tribute summonable monsters in hand. Because if this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card and special summon a token to your opponent's field. And then if this card is tributed for a tribute summon, you gain an additional normal summon again for this turn. So this is pretty good way of, like heck, even if you have a Monarch Stormforth, you can tribute away that token that your opponent has to tribute summon again. So it could potentially be a really good card for you. That's it for the monsters. The spells, the most important one is Domain. That's the reason we don't play an extra deck, mostly. Because while you have no cards in your extra deck, and you're the only person that controls a tribute summon monster, your opponent can't special summon from the extra deck. And then if a tribute summon monster attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 attack during the damage calculation. And then once per turn, you can reduce the level of one monster with 2800 and 1000 defense in your hand by 2. So that would make, like Erebus, it would make him a level 6. So then he would require only one tribute instead of 2 monsters. So that comes up every now and then. But mostly you're using that to lock your opponent out of the extra deck. And then 3 Monarch Stormforth. It's absolutely amazing. It's a quick play, so you can use it on your opponent's turn. If you would once per turn, if you would tribute a monster for a tribute summon, you can tribute one monster your opponent controls. So really, really good. So like you can activate this. And then after that, then you can activate Aether on your opponent's turn to then tribute summon a monster they control and tribute summon this all on your opponent's turn. So it makes it really punishing on your opponent if you can get a Monarch Stormforth and have an Aether in hand. 3 Tenacity. You just reveal one monster with 2400 or 2800 attack and 1000 defense, and you just add one Monarch Spell and Trap. So searches you any of these cards, any of these basically. So perfect for the deck, absolutely amazing. 2 Return, dropped it down. I sometimes played at 3, sometimes 2. But basically, if you tribute a monster while this is on the field, you can add another monster with 2400 attack or 2800 attack and 1000 defense. So it's just your way of searching. A lot of times you're going to want to be searching that Aether if you don't have it, but you can search even Majesty's Fiend, which is sometimes nice to get. So, and then 1 Pantheism. Again, like I said, once this is at 3, this deck will be full power, and it'll be a lot better because you just send 1 Monarch Spell and Trap from your hand to the graveyard and simply draw 2 cards. And then also you can banish this from the graveyard and reveal 3 Monarch Spell and Traps, and your opponent chooses one for you to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest back into the deck. So like, say you banish this, you can reveal 3 Domain, and your opponent obviously has to add a Domain. So that's a way of easily searching that. That effect can only be used once per turn, but the draw effect can be used multiple times. That's why they put this down to 1. But it helps the deck out so much. So you want to get to this as soon as you can. If you don't have it in hand, the next best thing obviously is getting it to grave, so that you can at least get another Monarch Spell and Trap to your hand. So it's an amazing card. 1 Reinforcement of the Army. That is just to search Edia, your best, basically your best normal summon before you tribute. So yeah, that's super important. Foolish Burial of Goods is to send Pantheism or Prime Monarch, so to get those effects off. 1 for 1, again, to special summon out Edia, because you'll find that That's one of your most important starter plays, is getting an Edia out to then tribute. Foolish Burial, you can either send, you can send Eidos if you have an Edia or a Mithra to get a tribute summon monster. You can send Edia. So like say you have a Pantheism that you used its effect, so you banish it, and then you have Foolish Burial. You can use Foolish Burial, send Edia, and then you'll add Pantheism back to hand to then use it again. Or you can even send an Erebus, because remember his effect, you just discard one Monarch Spell and Trap, and then target one monster with 2400 or more attack, and add it to your hand. So you'd be able to send him and then add him to hand if you need a tribute summon monster. So Foolish Burial is perfect for this deck. It's really, really good. And then the traps we play, just 2 of the Prime Monarch. If it's on the field, which you most of the time want it in the grave, but on the field effect, you just target 2 Monarch Spell and Traps, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 2. So it's a way of, recycling some of these cards and just getting some draw power. But if it's in the grave, you just banish one other Monarch Spell and Trap and special summon this card. And that's your way of getting easily tribute summon monsters. And he's got 2400 defense, so it could potentially just block attacks from your opponent. And the last trap we play is Escalation. Just another way of being able to tribute summon on your opponent's turn, because that, obviously, like paired with Monarch, Stormforth is really, really good. Or just Interruption again, if you can tribute summon Aether to then get out Curaz to just interrupt. It's really nice, so I threw one in there. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. Kind of a quick one. Fun deck, so yeah, hopefully one of these days we'll get Pantheism off the ban list. But yeah, if you guys like budget rogue decks similar to this, then go ahead and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.